And love, peace and love, Bubbles here. This is the Bubbly Love Show, the Bubbly Love Show. I'm so excited to be with you all today. I'm doing something different and I'm actually at a different location. So excuse my background today, but we gonna get it poppin'. It's poppin'. So right now, I want to start off by saying that we are in Mimi's Cafe in the Bronx, New York, 2417 3rd Avenue. We're gonna play focusing today. However, so we're going to have a special guest on today's show, and it's going to be Phonetic Wisdom. I'm so excited to have her. And the topics discussed today, I'm laughing right now because it was just so quiet in here. But we're gonna work with it. So let's start off by saying that the reason why I'm in a different location today is because I'm going to be hosting an event with Coexist at St. Kofa House in the Bronx, New York at around 6 p.m. No problem. I'll give you a few minutes. Phonetic. I'm just doing some introductions and disclaimers about my location and possible noise in the back. So I'm hosting an event today celebrating the summer solstice with my brother Ether and my soul family. And right after this, I'm going to hop over there, which is like literally across the street. So again, excuse my background. I'm going to do my best when it comes to sound. But this is not Zoom, so unfortunately I cannot mute the background. But I'm going to do my best again when it comes to sound. And we're just going to really have to use our listening ears. I'm also testing something out and doing these live shows at different locations because it's like I would like to promote these different locations as I'm out and about. And this place is specifically a plant-based space, and it has plant-based foods and drinks, and it's located in the Bronx, New York, and we don't have many plant-based places in the Bronx, New York. So shout out to Mimi Cafe, and shout out to you for being here. So tonight's discussion is going to be on rediscovering self-love and the revival of our spiritual path and our spiritual purpose. I'm just laughing right now because this is a lot of tests. Like I said, it was just so silent before I got on here, and now my bro just came in here with the loudness. But it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Alright, so what we're going to start off with is we're going to do 3 collective breaths, and Phonetic Wisdom will join us shortly. So let's start off by taking a deep inhale and exhale. Again, a deep inhale and exhale. Deep inhale. Exhale. Okay. Alright, we good. Peace and love. Welcome. Peace and love. I'm waiting on this.
Peace.
Oh, I'm
How are you?
very, just working with some stuff, I'm outdoors right now, and it was just quiet, but now it's a little thing. So I'm going to do my best when it comes to sound, but we're going to work with it.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
I was just like not sure if I was gonna make it home and also in the same situation.
Oh, yeah. Well, welcome home. I'm glad you made it on your time and your energy.
Yes. I'm just sending it out to as many people as I can.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Shout out to the Beats Vibes.
Yes, I'm loving your hair. You already
Thank
know.
you. I love yours as
You
well.
know I love when you pull up. You're so eccentric, so yourself.
Thank you. I miss you. How's everything
I miss you
been?
too. That's a lunch date.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're here and alive, and I'm happy to see your face smiling and bright. So we're good
Yeah.
there.
Glad you brought-
Yes. So I wanted to, I attempted to like start off with some deep breaths, but we can do one together. Let's do
Yeah.
like a collective breath together and just shed everything out. All right. So when you're ready, you can just close our eyes if you like, or whatever is comfortable for you. Take a deep inhale and hold it. Then release. Give yourself a hug. Say, I love
I
me.
love me.
I have everything I need.
I have everything I need.
I release what is not serving me.
I release what is not serving me.
And I receive love and abundance and balance.
I receive love, abundance, and balance.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Thank you. Like if it gets, tell me if it gets a little bit too loud, I might just step outside because it was like I just want to be mindful. Do you hear me well though?
No, I hear you.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So let's get into it.
Okay. So welcome to the Bubbly Love Show. I'm so excited to have you on this time around. You know, we spoke about in the winter season having you on, so I'm happy to be in the summer season and have you on. And you know the purpose of me creating this show is to truly like create safe spaces to be able to just express ourselves, to be vulnerable. I think I'm gonna step outside because it's a bit distracting. It's distracting for me.
Yeah. Go
So
ahead, baby.
give me a second, y'all. Let me step outside. Oh, give thanks. Many blessings. I'll see you. Okay. It was great seeing you. Take care. All right. The live. Yes. Thank you. I'll do it out here. Okay. I'm actually, matter of fact, they got a cute little seat outside. I didn't even realize they got a cute seat outside.
Okay, perfect.
All right, cool. So I just want to shout out again, May May's Cafe, y'all, in the Bronx, New York. Okay, it's actually a plant-based spot,
Okay, cool.
and you get over here by taking the 4 train or the 5 train to 138th and Grand Concourse.
Okay, yeah.
And
I
just walk
know
like
what
a
you're
few
talking
minutes. So, all right, cool. This feels better. I was like, all right, bro had a lot of energy. Like he was just chilling. He was literally just chilling.
That's how the spirits be working.
Yeah, it's all good though. Okay. Oh, let me see. Let me actually. Okay. All right, cool. Okay. So I just wanted to talk about the reason why I created the Bubbly Love Course, or excuse me, the Bubbly Love Show. And the reason why I created this show is because I just really wanted to create spaces where we can be vulnerable with one another, discuss the different topics that we're passionate about, and truly bring together education and mental wellness as well.
I'm very big on mental wellness, and I feel like a big part of mental wellness is being able to express yourself freely in whatever it is that you love, whatever it is that you're passionate about. So it just really came to my spirit to be able to just connect with different folks of all walks of life and just come on here and speak about these different topics, because for myself, I'm passionate about so many things. And I'm like, you know what? How can I create a space that's like open for me to speak about all of these things I'm passionate about without making it kind of like overwhelming in a way? So I feel like having these conversations when I bring people on, it's like some of them I do myself, which is cool. But I feel like when I bring others on and like create like this building type of thing, it's just like so much more powerful for us to be able to build with and discuss the different topics. And I just want everyone to know as well that when I reach out to an individual that I'm interested in having on the show, I ask them, like, well, what would you like to speak about? Because I'm pretty much open to kind of anything as long as it's just an alignment. And, you know, I asked Phonetic Wisdom what she would like to speak about, and so we have our topics. And again, those topics are the revival of your spiritual path and purpose, and the rediscovery of self-love.
Yeah.
So to start off, I would like to ask, what inspired you for these topics? Like, why these topics?
Because I was like going through a period of time where I was just questioning if I was on the right path. And then like I'm a knowledge junkie, so I'm always taking in information. And even like dealing with people that have a certain level of knowledge and hearing things from their perspective, I realize like sometimes I can give a bit too much credit to the messenger instead of just taking the message. And so I won't say it threw me off my path, but I think it helped me to realize that I was already on the right path. So, like for me, my journey has been really like based around like attaining knowledge. Like that's like very strong in the disposition of who I am. So I'm always about absorbing knowledge and then trying to understand like what is my spiritual practice. Like each culture has their own type of spiritual practice, what have you. But then we also deal with the reality as melanated people that a lot of those spiritual practice of other cultures were derived from our ancestral land, from Egypt, from Quebec, what have you. And I was venerating different, or yeah, I guess you could say like venerating different deities. Like I was dealing with the spirit of Oshun, the spirit of Yemaya, the spirit of Eshu, the spirit of Tehuti, Heteru. So I think I was trying to figure out like, okay, like am I falling into like a spiritual free for all right now? And am I like all over the place? Like how do I truly honor my inner self, my divinity, and be responsible? Because I think a lot of people, I won't say a lot, but I know there are people that come into spirituality and it's kind of like they're just all over the place in a way where they're not really mindful of the energies that they're tapping into and how those energies can um you know operate in their life or the circumstances and situations that it can create. So I kind of took like a really big step back at a point. um I had an altar, and then I had stopped doing altar work, and I was just trying to figure out like what am I doing. And I was dealing with someone who was dealing with like, I don't know if you have ever heard of Wunuwap, but the master teacher Malachi York, He's an incarnate, and he came back to basically give us the melanated benign ether beings the information of who we are, where we came from, and try to get us to understand what our goal here is to do and how to become gods again. So I was dealing with someone dealing with that information, and then trying to really like absorb that and understand what I was being given with that, and how to take that information in and bring it into my practice. It was a lot. It can be really overwhelming. Like, it can be really overwhelming, the information that you come into, processing the information, not like going off like what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I'm trying to find like a good phrase for what I'm trying to say, but like, sometimes we get information and we like go to the extreme psychopathically, if that makes sense. Um, so like I can be an extremist, and so like learning how to balance my energies when I'm taking things in, like that phrase, like learn to take things with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
There's gonna be many things, a lot of things that are valuable, but you know, you you have your own spiritual makeup. I have my own spiritual makeup. The next person has their own spiritual makeup. You have your own astrology. Your natal chart is different from mine. Your numerology might be different from mine. Your human design might be different from mine. Um, the deities that you walk with could be different from mine. So all of these things, that contribute to the blueprint of your soul, and really understand, like, okay, like, how do I honor my soul's blueprint? So I was very much in that space of trying to get back to, like, okay, who and what am I, and how do I honor that? And so I felt like I've been going through Rosella. She does she has like a womb program where she goes through Queen of Fua's book, and we go through the gateways, and to like help us to really reawaken that divine feminine spirit, and maintain those energies. So I think it was like March, where we started to do that again. And I wasn't really following with the book. I was really just trying to regain my spiritual discipline. It was more so about having the accountability of women around me that wanted to go through the process of either awakening their inner self or maintaining their inner self. So I was going through that, and I don't feel like it was until maybe the last 2 weeks where like I was really like, okay, I'm gonna get my shit back together, like, for real, for real. And my mom had transitioned this past February, so I had basically like reset my altar. My mom is on my altar now, and finding that motivation again within myself to reconnect spiritually, because I was also just feeling very sad, because for a while, like, I didn't see my mom in my dreams, and I'm a big dreamer. And so I was just feeling like disconnected. I was feeling sad. I was feeling like, what's wrong? Like, what am I not doing? Like, so I was just going through a lot mentally and emotionally. And it's just been it was just a very, very difficult year. So it was a very difficult year. I I'm not gonna say I fell off spiritually. I just had to rediscover myself spiritually. Um, and just, like, being very, very mindful about how I speak on things, how I'm interpreting things. Like, right now, I don't know if you could hear it, but like, I'm kind of stuffy. So like, I have been drinking more since my mom transitioned, which I recognize. And I feel like now I'm at a point where my body, like my spiritual body, doesn't accept it. And so when I get carried away, the consequence is that I get very sick, and my throat chakra suffers. So and make like, to me, this is how it's translating as me abusing my ability, my throat to drink instead of express. That is like my karmic response. And this past week I was actually booked for a gig, but it was like Sunday morning where I woke up and my voice was like that. I was very stuffy. I could barely talk. And I was like, damn, I like pulled some cards. I had pulled some cards maybe that Friday or perhaps the Saturday, and I got the devil card. And the devil card is basically about like temptation, addiction. So I was trying to be mindful, but I still got carried away. And so I recognized that as the consequence of my actions. And then I had to forfeit the gig, which was $300. And so I had to ask myself, I was like, well, I have to decide, like, am I going to try to be lit mommy or paid mommy? Because they can't go together. And like, I was just, I kind of just been sitting with myself and like really trying to evaluate, like, okay, I'm not who I was like 10 years ago. I'm not even who I was 5 years ago. I'm not even who I was last year. And I feel like as much as I'm aware or people perceive me to be, I'm still human. I'm still dealing with this human existence. I'm grieving. I'm going through a lot of changes. I'm gonna be 30 in a month, and they say your body goes through changes when you're coming upon that time, and then I'm in my Saturn return. So it's a lot. And you know, I was having a hard time dealing with that, despite the tools that I have. So I'm just going through so much transitions.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna. Okay. I just want to thank everyone again who's on here. I'm gonna take the time to look at y'all messages. I saw it coming through. I just didn't want to get distracted. But peace, y'all. Thank you so much for coming through. I miss you too. Yes. I appreciate y'all coming and supporting and just checking on the divine queens. You heard? Yes. Peace, peace. Yes, mental. I got your message. Today I'm running around a lot today, so I will respond to you at the best time for me. I have just been doing my best at prioritizing everything. So as I get my things done today, I will reach out to you probably by this evening, if not tomorrow. Um, so somebody said, so wow, did chat couldn't have come at a better timing, synchronicity at its finest. I even have screenshots to prove it now. This is meant for me. Thank you. Bless you. Happy to see you, Bubbles. Happy to see you as well.
I'm good. You okay?
Yes.
I'm leaving. I'm going to be up there for 6 o'clock.
So I'm gonna just speak a bit while Phonetic comes back on the topics at hand. So prior to us meeting, like a lot of things was coming to my spirit about the words like rediscover and revival, right? And I'm very big when it comes to like the um the vocabulary, like human language, right? And when it comes to the prefix of re, right? When you put re in front of anything, it means like again, right? Doing it again. So when I heard the word revival, it is something that was alive, right? And it's being like, I think about like playing video games, if anybody plays video games, and when something like you have like a revival spell or something, and it's like your character dies, but then you have the revival spell or potion that you just put it back to life again. And I feel like throughout our lives, we continuously have these revival moments. There is, like Phonetic was talking about, 10 years ago, we're different people. So it's like the old us dies, the old part of us dies. And then we get revived again because we step more into our spirituality. We release things, we shed skin. I think about snakes and how snakes literally shed skin and then they are in a new skin. So literally it's like they died and then they rebirth. They continuously rebirth. And throughout our lives and our journeys, we are continuously dying and reliving again. So the revival. So it's like your spiritual path and purpose may be different than it was a year ago versus this year. Not like completely different, but because what I found on my journey is that as I'm on my path and my purpose and I know what it is, it just keeps enhancing. I just keep getting more detailed in the things that it is that I'm supposed to be doing. It's like I know what I love to do. It started off with me just performing, right? Creating safe spaces for others to express themselves, which was inspired by my own experience with my throat chakra being closed, me being scared to sing in front of people, me being scared to express the thing that was very closest to my heart, which is music. And then finally being brave enough to start going to open mics, start to share my music, start to put out music. And I realized how powerful it was for me to finally find my voice in that way. So then I wanted to create this safe space for others to do the same. And now, 6 years later, after me starting to perform, now it's like I've incorporated the children. Children was something that I've always been passionate about. I lost my little brother to gun violence at a very young age, at the age when he was 17 years old. I was 18 years old. So that inspired me to think about the children in my community coming from the Bronx, New York, continuously seeing violence. And again, it goes back to expression because I think about what is the foundation of this child being so angry that they picked up a weapon to kill another child, right? It's the inability to express yourself, the inability to have a safe space to express yourselves, the pent up anger, the pent up tension, the pent up sadness. Because a lot of times in these neighborhoods, we don't have guardians. We don't have the guardians that we need in order to fulfill our spiritual growth. We have energies that normalities that tell us to hold in our feelings, and that is not a norm. And when you hold up anything, if it's like, for instance, if you think about a balloon, if you keep pushing air in it, keep pushing air in it, keep pushing air in it, and you don't eventually let some air out, then it's going to explode, it's going to pop, and that can literally come out and manifest as a human into violence. It can manifest into mental wellness, like psychiatric, like trauma, so many different things for mind, body, and spirit. So it's very important for us to express ourselves. And I realized as I've been going on my journey, I'm inspired by the things that happen to me and the people that's close to me. And then everything just keeps refining as these years go by.
Yeah.
I was just going
Sorry,
in.
my ancestors got an attitude with me. Sometimes
You're,
I just get caught in fits. I'm like,
you're
I
fine.
think I'm gonna die. That was dramatic, but yeah, yeah.
Yes. So I wanted to touch on what you were speaking of because I definitely came to that same, how you say, like that same message, essentially when you were talking about drinking, right? And you were talking about like you're intaking something, so you're stopping like the throat chakra, like literally this pendulum is a not pendulum, pendant. What is the word I'm looking for?
Pendulum.
Yeah, pendulum, but then also there's this other
Or
word that starts with
talisman.
P. Talisman. Yeah, I think actually sis, now I'm thinking about sis that made this, she actually
Pendulum.
called it
Well, this is
talisman.
definitely a pendulum.
Pendant, yeah, that's a pendulum, but I'm like pendant.
Pendant.
That's the word I'm looking for. But a sister made this for me, literally like back in like 2021. And I remember she said that she just went with her spirit on what I needed, and it was the throat chakra. And I was literally like hosting an event that night, and it was right before I went on my journey to it was actually right before I went on my journey to Mexico. And prior to that, what led me to going to Mexico is because I was over drinking. I ended up getting sick because of me over drinking. And I thought about the same thing. I'm like, yo, I'm blocking my feelings and what I'm supposed to be saying. In addition, like I recently, for the past few months, stopped smoking. And smoking, like even though drinking was challenging, like smoking was one of the most challenging things that I have like released, because
Yeah.
I've literally been smoking for 14 years, y'all. 14
Yeah,
years.
that's a long
I
time.
realized like I was smoking for half of my life. Like I started smoking when I was like 14, turning 15. And I basically just stopped. Like I just turned 29 in March. So it's like I really stopped smoking a little bit before my birthday. So I'm like, yo, I was smoking for half of my life. And that became my normal thing to do. So now, and then I started thinking about when you're smoking, you're like inhaling air, like you're right, you're
Uh-huh.
inhaling air, and then I'm just like, wait a minute, I feel like there's things that I'm supposed to be releasing, and I'm just inhaling all the time. And I realized that there would be times where I would be inhaling that air, and then it's like, then I would be in my mind about things, and I would be second guessing myself, and I just had all of these doubts and fears that was manifesting because I wasn't allowing myself to express the things that I really wanted to say. There would be so many times where I'm like, like lately I've been going on Instagram, like, and literally when Spirit calls me, I'm like, all right, bubbly love message of the day, right? And for a while, sis, I've been wanting to do that. But I would literally, because I was smoking so much, I would get in my head about the message. Like, I don't know if they're going to understand what I'm saying. Da,
All
da, da,
the
da, da.
time.
Would
All the
not
time.
share it. I just would not share it. And nowadays, because I haven't been smoking, like, honestly, y'all, I feel so much clarity. So
Mhm.
much clarity. And it's like when I get these messages, I'm like, yo, I already know that this message is going to be for somebody, whether it's one person, whether it's for 100 people.
It always
I
is.
know that it's be for somebody, and I'm getting this message for a reason. I remember back when the whole what was happening, that eclipse that happened
Yeah.
like a few months ago, that big one. And I remember I was gonna do a whole like all women's event, like virtually and everything like that. And then my spirit was like, you need to just chill right now because a lot of energy is happening and you need to just tap in, right? And I remember I shared a message because like, okay, the message that came to me was curiosity kills the cat.
Okay.
And I remember sharing it, and I remember like, even though I was like, I know this is going to be for somebody, I felt like I was like, I don't know how many people's going to get this message, but I'm going to share it. And when I shared it, a lot of people was like, yo, thank you so much for sharing it. And what the premise of it was, curiosity kills the cat. So you know how everybody was getting their glasses, everybody wanted to go outside and see the sun and
Yeah.
everything like that. And truth be told, I did want to go out and see it because of curiosity, but I felt this message of like, you need to go in right now and
Mm.
not go out right now.
Mm.
So it's like, so curiosity kills the cat, being, are you going to be so curious that you don't listen to the cat? Which is like, when I think about cat, I think about feminine energy, like the intuition. So
Uh-huh.
you're letting your curiosity kill your intuition that's telling you to go in right now, and you don't need to go outside. You don't need to go see the sun, even as cool as it may be or whatever it is. It's like you need to tap into your sun. You need to tap into your light and speak to yourself. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. You better. Otherwise, you get slapped up by the
Yeah,
ancestors. That's what I was
literally.
dealing
And
with just now.
oh my gosh. And it was just so funny because I did it, and then look what ended up happening. I didn't go outside, and then people on Instagram ended up sending me pictures of the sun anyway. So it's like I technically got to see how cool it looked or whatever,
Uh-huh.
but I still got to do my inner work that I was being called to do. And
Yeah. I actually did a
yeah,
shroom. I think I did shrooms that day, and I was like releasing. It was a lot. And you have to do what your spirit calls you to do,
yep,
because what your spirit calls you to do, the next person's spirit might not call them to do that. That's why I say it's like, what is my soul's blueprint? Because we're all here to give this world a certain kind of energy. And it's like, I'm backed up on messages that I'm supposed to be putting out because the overthinking, because I'm
right.
eating it away, or the smoking was actually last year. I had stopped. It's almost been a year actually since I stopped smoking, and something in me just kind of was like, nah, well, and I was okay. which is surprising because I became a smoker because I was so used to doing stuff and always being around. Like, I can't be drunk everywhere. And I
Right.
guess that's crazy that was the logic. But, yeah, like, and I stopped drinking before too. So it's like it's really not that it's hard. It's just about letting go of the attachment to trying to feel something outside of what I feel. And I have like I can have an addictive personality, so anything could be a joint for me. You know what I'm saying? So it's really about channeling that energy appropriately. And when I read, when I'm doing some type of physical movement, like I started to do qigong, and that was I really enjoy that. That was very helpful for me. Um, Yoga when I feel up to it, or just like movement, just healing movement. I had stopped like taking walks, and then I started taking walks again. And I'm a nature child. I was always like that. I always wanted to be outside barefoot. Like, so just like when you realize that you get away from yourself, you're like this is not me, you know, and being able to recognize yourself and what's not yourself,
Yeah.
because that on this journey, there are disembodied spirits waiting to take you over, especially when you're vulnerable under the influence of alcohol or weed, or just when you know you don't want to do something and then you go against yourself and do it anyway. That is not you, and there's a reason for that. And the deeper reason is that there are spirits that linger, that are looking to relive their physical experience. And that's something that I've been knowing, and I like really work to like be mindful of that. And because people don't realize how easy it is to be possessed. They let these movies trick them into thinking it's something mad dramatic and your head's gonna spin around on a swivel. Like, nah, it could just be you drinking too much. And you
Right.
know you don't
Happening.
drink like that. Yeah. Or like you smoking 10 blunts. You only smoke one blunt, but you around all these people with all these different energies, and now you want to be Sir Smokes a lot. You know, so just it could be so simple. It could be so simple. You know, like you're a clean person and your house is in disarray, and people coming over like, yo, what's going on? Like, it's not you. That's some other spirit taking you over. And it's such a journey, man. Like it's such a journey, and like the part about like loving yourself through it, making mistakes, like knowing better than maybe a a, a a fair amount of people, or maybe even a lot of people. Because sometimes I think we assume that more people are on the journey because we bump into people like ourselves, but I don't know if that's really the case. Because you know, like it says, many are called, few are chosen, and it was only 144,000 that went. That's not a lot. So you know, just having the responsibility of knowing what you know and executing it, and then when you don't execute it, having grace for yourself. And I've made decisions I'm not proud of, even recently, and I'm just like, I had to take a bath, cry, cry some more, cry again, be mad, be like, why, how could I uh, go crazy for like a day or two, and be like, okay, I'm still here. Nothing broke me. I'm not broken. And to like really be like, this is the human experience, and I'm okay with that. Like, I have to be okay with that and not judge myself so harshly, because how if I learned the lesson, I would not have made that poor decision again. So, and then realizing like you don't always learn the lesson when you realize what the lesson is. Sometimes you go through it until you can't go through it anymore, until you reach that point where it's like, I mentally, emotionally, physically cannot tolerate this. And only you know when that is. It might be sooner for another person or later for the next person, but your time is your time. You know, your breaking point is your breaking point. And I was just very like hard on myself. I was always very hard on myself, you know. And my mother, she's like a Jamaican woman, like she's hard on herself, she's hard on me, she's just hard.
Yeah, yeah,
And recognizing that, like, okay, whose voice is this in my head? My voice, my mother's voice, like who's
yeah,
talking?
yeah.
It's it's
Yeah, I definitely resonate with that. Thank you so much for sharing. I want to touch on the fact that you were talking about like being hard on yourself because it's something that I'm always like working through and releasing. I feel like I've been doing better lately, and when I find myself there, I'm like, first of all, allow your space, allow yourself space to grow, allow yourself space to make mistakes, allow yourself space to have compassion. And something that's been coming up for me a lot lately is forgiveness, like forgiving yourself. Because, like what you just said, it's like you can know what the lesson is, but if you find yourself repeating, I'm like, wait, why am I in this loop again? I know this exact situation is with a different person, but I know this situation and I'm still here in this point, and I'm like, how did I get here? But then it's just like, because you ignored it, you ignored the signs, you ignored the voices that was coming through, and you just wanted to see the benefit of the doubt in people and give the benefit of the doubt for people. And I realized that in my journey of finding compassion for others, I must first find compassion for myself first. And it's not about being mean, it's about truly setting boundaries and allowing what is like beneficial for your growth in your life. Like
yeah.
when it comes to this self-love journey, I'm telling you, girl, like years ago, like some years back when I had a 4 year something relationship, and I was just
I
like, I'm on
remember.
a journey of self-love. Yeah, and I was like, I don't want to talk to nobody. Like, I don't want to talk to nobody. Then I went on some like, well, I'm closing myself up to love, so I guess I shouldn't close myself up to love. And I feel like, honestly, who I ended up talking to, it was toxic. And I was allowing old shit that I haven't dealt with stuff like that since I was like a teenager. And I was like, how did I find myself back in this loop? But it's like you didn't listen to yourself. You said you was gonna focus on yourself and you felt like you grew through certain things, but truly you needed more space, you needed more time. And then also, I realized that I was just reflecting. I was getting back, like I was in the relationship that it was reflecting how I could be to myself, like how I could be critical of myself, how I could go hard on myself, how I could not give myself grace, how I expect myself to be perfect. And I had to really sit with that and be like, Deja, you don't need to have so much expectations for yourself. And then it's like, where's these expectations coming from? I actually did that 2 shows ago, and I wrote down all my expectations, and I realized that they're like from society, from parents, from culture, from your profession. What is a successful musician? Oh, it's being on TV. No, the F is not being on TV. That's something that people make you think. It's like when I look at the 6 years that I have been creating and performing and doing the things I love, sometimes I have to really sit with it like, wow, I did that. I forgot that I did that. Like, wow, I impacted this. I went this place. I was connected with this person. I got to be in a room with around this. And it's just like, that's success. That's
Yes.
success. Like, that is success because you're doing what you love and you decided that you're not going to settle and do something that you don't love. And that's a part of self-love. In addition to that, talking about partnership, like I recently got out of a partnership and I learned so much within that relationship as well, and just
Yeah.
again loving myself more and being in a relationship with myself and being like, I can't be mad at somebody if they don't get me flowers, if I don't be buying myself flowers. It's like I be picking flowers and putting them in my hair, but like, I'm like, I need to start just really buying myself flowers, or even like what I told myself, because honestly, I don't really want to buy myself flowers. I want to go to the park and I want to pick out flowers and make a cute bouquet, and that'll be my
Yes.
flowers. You know what I'm saying? And put it in a vase, put it in my room. The other day, I picked some lavender and I put it in like this little small vase in my room, and just
Yes.
doing things for myself that I would like to see in a partner, and truly being consistent with those things. Massaging my own feet with some coconut oil, massaging my body, taking my bubble baths, the things that like I said, I can't be mad at another person because they don't do certain things. Like I have to do that for myself first,
Yeah.
and that will always end up reflecting. And I realized too, and my most recent experiences with other individuals, that because I was working so much on having compassion for others, I wasn't having compassion for myself and setting boundaries and being like, yo, I don't talk to people that do this. I don't talk to people that do that. And being like, well, but they're a nice person. And one of my friends made me realize, like, being nice is the minimum. They better be nice to you. If you intimate with me, you close to me, you like me or whatever, you better be nice to me.
If you're
I didn't
breathing my air.
Literally, I got so used to talking to somebody I was toxic that I was like, I forgot that you supposed to be nice to me because I got somebody that's finally nice to me. I'm like, oh my gosh. But then when I
Yeah.
think of my past, I'm like, what? Everybody that I talked to, for the most part, was always like nice to me, and I'm like, I'm nice to people. Like that's again a minimum. They should be
Yeah. The self-love journey. Because you don't really realize that your expectation is the bare minimum until you start saying things like at least, or because like why are we starting there, and then when you're evaluating why you're choosing this person, because I had come out of a situation where this person, I was dealing with someone who's like very hostile, very aggressive, very nasty, and I had to look back and be like, well, is that how I am towards myself? Like,
Yeah,
was that me experiencing like what I do to myself, or how I feel about myself? And then you meet someone who is kind, and then you're like, oh my gosh, and it's just like, but I deserve that.
and more, and
Yeah.
then some. Right.
So it's like once you realize that's like, and then also going back to like the loop. I feel like it's not exactly a loop all the time. Some people do go in loops, but I think I want to say it's a spiral because there's levels to, you're
True.
like ascending through those relationships, and there, if it was worse than, if you perceive that it was worse than it should have been, then perhaps that was a loop that you went through. But when you're able to recognize, like, okay, I was dealing with this, now I'm dealing with this, you just went up the spiral, okay, and now you're aspiring to go back up. Aspire, spiral, it's all like, it's all connected. But then also remembering we're coming out of the age of Pisces, which is the age of belief. And we want to believe the best of people. We want to
Yeah.
believe that people are like us. But the age of Aquarius is about knowing. We know inside what is not for us. But we have to start be like, because in human design, like I have something called sacral authority. So like my based off of like my guttural initial response, if I'm like, it's like a no. Because that's my spirit like physically speaking out. Like, it's no. I would be like, that's a yes.
I like that you said that because I find myself, even like when it comes to decisions about going somewhere or not going somewhere, it's like wait, if I'm questioning it, like I shouldn't go because
Yeah.
it's like those things that you know that like you're like, no, I gotta go there. It's gonna be around these people, like my family, this and that. It's gonna feed my spirit. Like it's a definite yes. So I love what you said because it's like word. If it's a then it's a no.
Yeah, because you
And
know when it's a yes.
yeah,
Once
yeah.
you start be like, overthinking it, something in
You
the
try to
air is
make a
telling
list.
you that. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
try to make a
Yeah,
list
Eddie, the gut
before.
alert. And if I got to, I'll take my pendulum off and ask, like, what's the energy around?
I
Is
love
this person?
pendulum. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I forgot that practice, or I had fell off of that practice.
yeah.
I got my cards back. I asked my cards what they said. One day they said maybe. I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's what's in my spirit. We don't know yet, but we gonna keep consulting. We're gonna meditate on it,
Yeah,
and just make it a practice to always like go inside and really like
yeah,
figure out if you really feel uncertain. Use your tools. You
yeah.
know.
Mhm. I wanna touch on what you were talking about earlier, And when you was talking about like the different practices and the different deities in your spiritual journey, your spiritual path, because I feel like that's been a consistent lesson as well for myself, as far as like loving information and loving to like learn different things, but then also not getting, like you said, taken with a grain of salt and not getting too caught up in it. Because it's like, all right, but how does your spirit feel about this? Because it's like that can be somebody and their truth and their
Yeah.
journey and what they experience, but it's like what feels good to you, and not questioning it. I feel like there's times that I'm still working through this, where it's like there's times where I would not necessarily like resonate with somebody's energy, or like I love how they sound and how they look and everything. And then it's like they help others or whatever, but we may not resonate. And I'm just like, damn, is it me? But then it's like it be these consistent things. It's like, nah, like maybe y'all just not meant for each other right now, or like y'all just in two different like journeys or whatever. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's something that I've been like learning to just accept instead of just questioning it, because I was that student in class that's like, but why? But why? But why? But why? And I always call myself like I'm still that student that's like, but I want to know why. Like I want to know why. Why can't go ahead.
Now mind that spirit right there, sir. Because curiosity did kill the cat. And I overstand because that's me. I
Mhm.
would sense something from a person. I'm like, well, what is it? I, I want to figure it out. I'm a little fucking detective.
Yeah.
Kaboom, never again. No,
Mm-hmm.
because if you don't know what it is, if you can't put your finger on something, leave it alone.
Yeah.
And I had to learn. I had to learn that a few times because I want to know, and that's the double-edged sword of loving knowledge. That's the
Mm-hmm.
double-edged sword. You don't need to know everything.
Right.
You have the answer. You already have the answers, so you don't need to confirm them.
Yeah.
And and that's where our ego could get carried away because not every spirit for you.
Yeah.
It don't necessarily like so if we use the deities as an example, right? I one of my deities is Oshun, and
Wait, one of your what?
one of the deities I walk with is Oshun.
Okay.
I know this because it was confirmed over time. I felt called to the spirit. I got a reading. After the reading, the reader reached out to me and mentioned Oshun. I was on an interview and a sister said she sensed that spirit from me. Um, so I just kept getting those signs. Um, I met someone. One of his deities is Shango.
Okay.
Oshun and Shango don't go together. They're attracted to each other, but whenever Oshun was with Shango, she was like her. The story was that she was impoverished, and it doesn't make Shango bad. It's just he's just up for Oshun.
Right.
So it's kind of like that. Certain whatever spirits you may walk with, don't go with the spirits that person walk with.
Yeah.
They don't even have to be bad or nothing. Y'all just when y'all come together, the chemistry ain't right.
Yeah.
Then that's okay.
Yeah. I love that analogy. Thank you for sharing that,
Yeah,
because I feel like it's something that again I'm like learning to just allow space for my intuition and not to question it and not to have to know why. And then also like what you just said, not real I'm realizing that it's like, nah, this doesn't make this person bad and you good. It's like, nah, y'all just in y'all own, y'all can both be in y'all divinity, y'all, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all purpose and y'all walking and y'all light. Just it doesn't have to be together.
yeah.
So yeah, I totally get it.
Some sisters I love, they do not go together, and
Yeah.
I had to like stop trying. this my teacher. I had a teacher from like sixth grade tell me like you can't always be the peacemaker, like her
Right.
like in her little accent. I was like, well, why not? And
Right.
that's that spirit. Why not? Always trying to figure out
Right.
why. Like these people, they don't mix. They are oil and water. It's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. Some deities have beef with each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Like spiritual gangster warrior things. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like, like even when we talk about like tribes, there are tribes that
Yeah.
historically have warred. Your ancestors and that person's ancestors could have been at war historically.
Yeah.
So it's from so many different angles where why
Yeah.
you and this spirit don't have no business interacting. And
Yeah.
it's okay. We don't need to feel bad about not because we love so much and we embrace people, but that's who you are. You don't have to prove that.
Right.
So it's okay.
I love that you said that because that's been like a message as well. Like I don't have to like that was I was literally just writing journaling it today, like without over explaining.
Mm,
You don't have to over explain like what you are and who you are because your essence, like who you are, is going to already be translated through your actions, through your being, through your spirit, just being yourself essentially. And
yeah.
I just remember just writing down like, yeah, I don't have to like as I've been just walking in my purpose and stop explaining myself to others, I realized that the things that I need will just come to me. The people that I need will just come to me. I don't have to go and look for it. I don't have to explain like, yeah, because I do this, I do that, I da 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 da. Like it's great to promote, yourself in whatever ways or whatever, but it's like knowing that it's not necessarily a need for you to like try to reaffirm who you are to others because it's like it's in your essence, it's in your being.
Yeah.
And the more that I just be in that and step into that, it's like things just be coming to me. I'm like, oh, that's what you meant by like just being still and not trying to force
Yeah.
anything. It's like everything is going to come to you rather than you just trying to go for it.
Yeah. And just think about the people who already just accept you. You didn't
Yeah,
have to fight for their acceptance.
right,
They just saw you.
right.
So you're not here for the people that don't see you.
Hmm.
And I get it. That's another part of the self love journey where it's like I remember um the same person that I was dealing with as far as voodoo wop and that degree of knowledge years ago, maybe like 8 years ago, when I first met him. He kind of he like read me and he was like, you want to be accepted, but you're already accepted. And when he said it didn't really resonate until like years later, where it's like I'm accepted by my ancestors. I'm accepted by the Most High. I'm accepted by my spirit guides. I'm accepted by all those who are for me in this life on this journey. Why would I fight and extend my life force energy for that which is not for me? Because
Yeah,
that's when you deal with blocks. That's when
yeah,
you deal with setbacks. All of that comes with fighting for what is not natural for you.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I want to share with you because we're on the subject of self-love, something that's been coming to my spirit. And I feel like it's like a long time coming, but now is like the time. But it's been coming to me that I'm like, I want to do, or I'm going to do an event, right? And it's like us, this is my first time talking about it publicly. All right, it's going to
Okay.
be marrying ourselves,
Hmm.
marrying ourselves, right? And it's just like it goes back into the part of thank you so much, brother. So, that's a brother that was in the store chatting. He nice though. But so marrying yourself, right? Because I realized, like, again, going back to the whole idea of like, oh, we want others to give us flowers or we want
Uh,
others, rub our feet and stuff. And I was just like, what would it be like if we just have a day to celebrate ourselves and truly marry ourselves. And what that means is like, you know how like when people would like write vows for each other.
Yeah.
So I want to do like a workshop where we do like we create a song for ourselves. So it can be like a love letter or like a love song about yourself. And you just affirm yourself and tell yourself if you were like another individual, like tell yourself how much you love yourself and why you love yourself and why you're worth so
Yeah.
much and why you
Yeah.
deserve the very best. And you know, also I'm gonna tap into my whole styling because I love styling people. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
bring like African fabrics, and I got my camera now,
Okay.
my Polaroid camera. So we're gonna take pictures. You're gonna be styling and just like celebrating
Yeah.
yourself, expressing free expression and whatever you feel like is beautiful. Taking pictures and just celebrating yourself and loving yourself and affirming yourself.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
love that.
yeah,
I love that.
that's the idea. And I feel like honestly, what I've been going through as far as like relationship wise within when it comes to me and romantic partners and then also within myself, it's like it's interesting because it just brought me back here. At that time when I told you a few years ago when I was like self love, I'm not gonna date anybody. It's like that's what I was on. I was like, because I was actually looking at this event in Mexico where this lady does these ceremonies where you marry yourself.
Okay.
And it's so funny how recently it just came to my spirit. I'm like, yeah, you should just do an event where we're marrying ourselves. And then it's like, you know, my background is like in fashion, but I didn't really like the way that the corporate world of fashion works. But then it's like, okay, Deja, how can you do the things that you love and empower people? Because the reason why I love fashion is because it is self-expression. It is
Yeah.
freedom. It is communication. It's a way that like I can have a conversation with you from across the wall, like if you see me wearing a tutu, like you know what I'm saying. It's like it's a whole conversation. So that's what I love about fashion, not the energy of like feeling better than others and being pretentious
Yeah.
and all that, which is what I dealt with like in corporate. So it's just like also incorporating that part of me loving the free expression and being myself, and even like the journey that I recently went through when it came to like my locks.
Yeah.
And Spirit told me like to cut off my locks, and I wanted to grow my locks long down my back. I wanted
Me
to have
too, girl.
beard. I was like, yeah, because this is it. I'm spiritual. I got
Isn't it
my
crazy how we associate spirituality?
it's so funny. Like, and then Spirit was like, first of all, when I cut my locks, I didn't even know how much energy I had on the top of my head until
Yeah.
it came off. Okay, shaved my whole head, and then truly found that beauty within myself as well. Like, and just not having hair, and literally that inner beauty, that inner work. And then the idea of like, as my hair started to grow back, I'm like, oh, okay, like I feel like I want to have locks again. But then I was just like, but I want to put braids in my hair. I want to wear colors again in my hair. Like, who said that that's like I remember the idea of like, oh, that's too much. I remember when I started growing my locks, there were certain people around me that I never knew felt like this until I had my locks, and they're like, yeah, because that hair was too much. Those colors was too much. Like when I went, I was like, oh, tell me how you really. And I unknowingly held on to it internally. And then when I did start to, because like when I first stopped braiding my hair, it was a spirit thing. It was like I felt like I just wanted to express myself in the locks. I didn't want to do anything.
Yeah.
But then when I started wanting to express myself again in this way, I realized like, wait a minute, who was it that said that? That wasn't me. Like I love to express myself, and I know the reason why I love to express myself because it's
Yeah.
fun. It's like dressing up, and then what came to me is like, yo, you be tapping into all the ancestors. It's like when I do these different hairstyles, I'm tapping into different ancestors,
Yeah. It's true.
generations, different, energies. And I was just like, you know what? I miss that part of me. I miss that side of me. Like even I think very deeply. So even like when my spirit told me to do red hair, because I was about to do all black, and I was just like, but I don't want to do all black. I was trying to be all like grown and stuff like that because it's been this energy of like I'm 29. It's my last year of 20s. I'm gonna be 30, and it's like let me be mature. And I was like,
What
nah,
is that?
I'm about to do Right. So I was like, now I'm about to do red. So even I think about red, okay, why am I connected to red right now? Like, I need more groundedness. I need to ground my ideas. I need to step into like my woman right there, like my womanhood. Like, blood is what just came to me. It's like blood and creation and nature and being that
Mm,
mother womb. And just like, and again, like rocks. So, like, grounded in your truth and your expression and the things that you say that you are, and knowing who you are and being who you are, and no matter who comes along, standing your ground, no matter who comes along, no matter how good they look, no matter how good they sound, okay, being
yeah,
grounded in who you are and what you are, and being that. I say.
yeah. I say, because years ago, I think through like my shroom ceremonies, I was realizing like, oh, we're all babies, like we're all spiritual babies. And so, like, yeah, the baby does get distracted by the shiny spoon. Like, no, and like I said, it can be a thing where it's like no matter how many times you went through it, your soul has to endure it enough in this experience until you decide, like, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore. And so I definitely love you just having that spiritual psychology of like why you're choosing certain things, because this for me was an act of self-love. Because I went to the doctor maybe not like I guess a little over a month ago now, and I had gained weight. My hair was kind of thinning in certain places, and I was just like, this is too much. I can't do the weight gain and the hair loss. Something's gotta give. I was like, you know what? I haven't been taking good care of my hair. I've like been wrapping or whatever, but I don't really do anything to it. I might like, put like little steely braids in it or whatever. But I was like, I'm not showing my hair any love. So this was an act of self love, and I really wanted to just like embody my Afrocentric self. Like that's really me. Like that's how I feel. Like I just want to be in Africa all day, every day. I can't wait to get there. And so like this was me, you know, ritualizing my self love and making it apparent. Like this is how I feel about myself, and I
Yeah.
love it. I love it, and even just like really thinking about like, okay, what am I gonna wear today? And I was gonna wear something else. I was like, no, I don't really want to wear that. And I got this shirt from a thrift store, and it's kind of like oversized. So I have like little shorts on that's cute with it, and it's like chill, but this is my favorite color. I love the material. It's very simple, but it's very cute, which I feel like that's me. I got my black obsidian on. I'm not playing with y'all. I'm protected. I invoked my archangels today. I'm not fucking around. I have my frankincense oil on. Like we outside. We not playing with y'all. I smoked my crib out. Like it's like I'm taking my life seriously
Yeah.
as a spiritual person, and
Yeah.
that's different because that it requires a different level of work, and
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be cliche. And I had to come through that reality as well. Like I don't have to wear head wraps all the time, and I don't have to wear I don't know, like whatever people associate spirituality with, like because the least looking spiritual person could be more spiritual than you. So just deciding like how the entity that I am, the things that I like, the things that I enjoy, how do I incorporate that and bring that to life and express myself? And I'm loving it. I'm
Yeah.
loving it.
Thank you for sharing that, because it truly, again, going back to just self expression. And I
Yeah.
realized, like, what's for you will always be for you. Like,
Mhm.
when I started picking up feathers from the floor and putting them in my hair, it's just because I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, lately, it's also been in my spirit to, like, there you go, right? And I was just like, and I just started doing it. And then this lady told me, like, oh, in Yoruba, the priestess, they put the feathers in their hair. I'm like, yo, girl, I just started doing it because I thought it was cute.
But your
Right,
spirit was moving you to do it.
right,
Even when you're not thinking about some things, it's
right.
because that force within you, it's a subconscious thing.
Yeah,
I think that sometimes I don't think anything is a coincidence. I think we choose things whether we realize it or not. Because like I guess I could say I wasn't thinking about the cowrie shells, but I know I like cowrie shells. Cowrie shells are like represent Oshun, so you're always embodying the energy if you're choosing to express yourself. Some days I might wear the feather, some days I don't. Maybe the days I wear the feather, I might feel like I need more Mahat. And, and so it's just like when you do take those times to sit with yourself and just be reflective, then you're able to see like, oh, this is how my spirit moves. Okay. Or
Yeah,
or per se, maybe I should say consciousness, because from what I'm studying right now, the spirit is actually just the animation of you, what gives life to your body. But your consciousness is what gives you the will to do things.
right.
So your consciousness is it's always there, you
Yeah.
know, and it's gonna do what is necessary for its spirit for the day.
Yeah. And it's funny because like even like my outfit tonight that I'm gonna change into like is white, and that's been something that's been coming to me as well. Because before when I heard all of that, like shamans and all that wear all white and all linen and da da da, and I'm just like, I love my colors. I don't know about white, but lately
Yeah,
it's been coming to me more like, okay, like wear more white. And then I realized the energy lately too. I've been coming on the Bubbly Love show and wearing white specifically, and I just feel like this open channel. So it's like very good for like my channeling and like when
yeah,
I'm just pure and just clean and cleansing. And I'm like, oh, like what I actually just said to this brother on the train is like, I feel like when I'm wearing white, I'm like receiving, and then like as I have on colors right now, I'm like putting out. It's like, yo, this is me, this is what it is, or whatever. But then the white is like, okay, let me receive now. Like
mm.
that's how I start thinking about it.
Also, try looking up the deities whose color is associated with white.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because I'm really big on like connecting things, and sometimes I feel like all the times I feel like when we do certain things, like try to find like what's associated with that, and
Right,
that helps give us deeper insights on the energy that comes with white.
right. Thank you for saying that. I feel like as you're saying it, it makes me connect like to the cowrie shells as
Hmm.
well. Like that's what I'm thinking about, like the cowrie shells. And it's funny because when you were talking about the hair, anytime that I've done like beads in the past, it's always been like the clear beads, right?
Okay.
But this time specifically, it was just something I was like, yeah, I want the wooden ones, and I want
Okay.
it to be very like we're on this vibe right now, and I was just like, yeah, that's the vibe. Like I seen it in my head, and I was just like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the vibe I'm going for. And it's just like I love to just follow spirit, and then it's just like this alignment that just connects you back to like what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
It's so bad.
because everything means something.
Yeah, it's
Everything
true.
means something. And like even this hairstyle, like it's like out on the sides, but the back is just cornrows. And I had my
Uh-huh.
friend, like, I was trying to explain to her, like, oh, this is how I want my hair. She was like, you have a picture? I was like, I don't know. I couldn't find no pictures of anybody with a particular hairstyle like that. But I was like, well, this is how I want my hair. And when it was done, I was like, thank you so much. She was like, well, girl, you had the vision. I just executed it. I was like, but it's like pseudo. And it's just like, just knowing what you want is so powerful.
Yeah,
It's so powerful. And
and
like
going
people when
for
they
it.
see me, they're like this one lady, she was like staring. She couldn't really help it. And I'm like, I know she wants to say she likes it. She just didn't know how to. She couldn't express that. But I was like, yeah, I'm cute.
You know that. You know that. I say. Yeah. So I just
Yeah.
wanna I wanna thank you so much for coming on here with me. I'm gonna get ready for this event
Yes.
totally.
Thanks for having
But
me. I love you
like,
so much.
yeah, I love you so much. Thank you so much for like always. I just know that when we first met, it's like so you don't remember when we first met because like I like noticed you first, and like you performed at this like it was like this mental wellness event, and you performed and you shared your story. It was I forget the young lady's name, but she's like Hispanic, and she had an event that was like music and mental wellness. And it was like some years back, yo. Because listen what happened. I noticed you and I thought you was so powerful. And then I went up to you like quickly and was just like, oh, that was dope. But we didn't really like talk at that event. It just so happened that we ended up at like an event like the next week or something, like literally within like a week or something. And that's where we ended up like talking and connecting. And then like ever since then, we've just been like building ever since. And like, I feel like small pockets of time that like even after a long time. And it's like, I always remember you just being so welcoming and open. And I really do thank you for that. Like, as I'm really tapping into like the sisterhood thing and what it means to like build with other women and just love on one another and grow together and be compassionate with each other and be vulnerable with each other. I just want to thank you for your being and your essence and always just seeing me and accepting me in every way, shape, or form that I've been from the first time I met you up until now.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Yes. So the way that we start is the way we should end. So let's do 3 collective breaths. However you feel comfortable. I'm going to close my eyes. Let's take a deep inhale and hold and release. Another deep inhale and hold. And release. Last one, deep inhale, bring it down to your toes. And hold. And release. When you're ready, give yourself a hug. I love me.
I love me.
I have everything I need.
Everything I need.
I am free.
I am free.
I am powerful.
I am powerful.
I am balanced.
I am balanced.
Ashe, ashe. Shake it all out.
Hey.
Thank you so much for coming on here with me. I'm gonna text you and I would love to set up a time that we could like see each other in person.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Alrighty. Alright, enjoy the rest of your evening, okay? I love you so much.
Bubbly. Have a great
Yes.
event.
Thank you so much. For those of you on here, thank you for tuning in to another Bubbly Love Show. And I'll see you next week. Peace, y'all.
Peace.